All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from downtown Baton Rouge, starts now.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB. Jake Flynn, Alondra Tate, all here with you. Here in this hour, we're going to have Dr. Stephen Etheridge join us. There's some big injury news for not only an SEC star, but maybe the front runner in the Heisman Trophy conversation, John Mateer, that we'll break down with Dr. Etheridge. We'll break down the Ole Miss quarterbacks here in this segment as well, but if you'll remember last week, there was an LSU player that got ejected for targeting. No, it was not a defender. It was an offensive lineman on a field goal that was about 10 yards short, and there was a return situation, and Tate, him being out, could be something to pay attention to in Saturday's game.
Yeah, we were talking about it during break. It's an underrated talking point because if you remember in the Clemson game, Tyree Adams had to leave for a couple games. DJ Chester was your left tackle. He has played right tackle. You know he can play both guard spots. You know he can play center. He is your sixth man. So now if somebody goes down, it's a true backup situation. Like you'll throw Kern in there, talented, hadn't played a ton. You'll throw Ori Williams in there, talented, hadn't played a ton. Braden Augustus, former walk-on, played a little bit last week, but that's really all he's done action-wise. Kelly said on Monday, like, he will be the center if something happens to Braylon Moore, who's already still kind of banged up in the first half of that game. Like, that's an underrated point to me because when you have a guy like Chester that you could just slide in there who was a starter a year ago, you feel a lot better about that than having a guy that really hasn't played at all in the SEC. Now you're on the road. Like, that's huge, and we're not talking about it a ton.
Chester actually is probably your swing offensive lineman, and I don't mean swing like swing guard, swing tackle, swing everything.
Yep.
He is going to come in at guard, tackle, or the center position. So, look, he's not out for the game. He's out for the first half, which, by the way, like, targeting, what are we doing? Like,
did they ever explain that?
Fix it.
Because I was asking you guys, the field goal should have been blown dead because they said it was a pre-snap penalty.
Yeah. So it's a play that never happened.
So the play never happens, but the targeting, which wasn't in the first place, still stands.
Stupid. Targeting is so broken. I was watching Clemson and Syracuse, and Clemson's edge rusher did a spin move, got free, launched into the Syracuse quarterback, and kind of grazed the side of his helmet, but his head was down, crown of the helmet. I'm like, look, I don't want that guy thrown out of that game, but they're going to call that for targeting. They flagged it. They reviewed it. No targeting. I was like, wait. Wait. Like, so that's not targeting. And, again, I'm glad that the guy got to play the rest of the game because I think it's dumb you get kicked out of the game. But he launched, crown of the helmet. The quarterback was lucky enough to kind of turn his head, and so it grazed the side of his helmet and not his face mask. But the last two that I've seen for LSU, those are considered targeting, get you kicked out of the game, and launching at the quarter. Okay, got it. Cool. Because it's broken as hell. So bad.
Yeah, the penalty is just, it's so severe. And I get it. If you want to preach safety, it's great. But, like, to be able to go and suspend a kid for any amount of time, like, there has to be a malicious intent. Like, that, there's no argument that you can make against that. If you want to, like, make a deep-seated fear of these guys because you can't really find them, whatever it is. Because, like, in the NFL, like, you don't get suspended a lot, but you do have the fear of the pocketbook, making your wallet a little bit lighter. And in college, I guess you don't have that. Who knows? It might go to that. But to be able to suspend somebody for action for a play that you're given effort on, for a bang play without malicious intent. Now, if you maliciously go in there and try to hurt somebody, you can tell that.
Yeah.
But that needs to be reviewed by, like, the NCAA office or the conference office or whatever it is. I almost said the league office, like it's the NFL. And
What is
I
the
guess I'm
league?
assuming that the NCAA is competent enough to do that and do it right. But that should be a reviewed situation that is not determined just because a guy with a quick trigger finger threw a flag on something, or they did a booth review and they're like, well, technically he dipped his head right at the last second. Not to mention that he was running full speed and have to jump over a guy to try to like scramble and bite and claw and scratch to get to the ball carrier to make a tackle.
Yeah.
He just ducked his head like instinctively, reactively.
Hey, this offensive lineman who doesn't tackle people got put in a situation where they were returning a field goal that was short, and he was trying to get the guy on the ground.
Yeah. Now, if a receiver's going over the middle and you're a safety and and there's a picture taken of you and you're horizontal to the ground with your head like that, like we've seen those plays, we get it. And that pretty much has been removed from the game. You see it every now and then, but the malicious plays have pretty much been removed from the game. But to penalize somebody for high effort and just playing a football game or instinctively reacting to something, get out of here with that. Trash.
Let me throw this around the room, all right? If you were the commissioner of college football, I'm not talking about the NCAA, the SEC, the commissioner of college football, what's the first thing that you would do?
As far as the rule?
Anything. No, anything. Anything you would do with college football.
Oh, God, that's a big question.
You should have a big answer.
I mean, well, because it's fresh on the brain, I would fix the targeting right now.
That's okay. That's okay to be the answer,
But
because I
that's
would
a
fix
dumb
that
answer
as
'cause
well.
I like to think about it for at least 4 to 5 days.
That's not how radio works there, bud.
I need a week. Where's the prep?
No, I would eliminate Notre Dame's football program.
Ooh,
make
I
them
like
join a
that. That's
conference.
I'd make them join a conference or eliminate their program.
Alondra,
No more
Tay-Tay,
independence.
y'all got one?
Yeah, I think the most egregious thing is the transfer portal right now. Like the amount of times that you can can
that's
that be
good.
part of it?
Oh, yeah, for
Okay, yeah,
sure.
like
you can do anything you want. You're commish.
Right?
You're the
Okay,
president.
so I would fix the transfer portal because I know they're already starting to put some rules in, or they put like one rule in place. They put the timeline or whatever,
Yeah.
but that would be my first thing. Like you cannot transfer, you cannot TJ Finley all this stuff.
Yeah.
So you get them like one free transfer and then like a penalty.
Think
if you do
about
it again.
Think about it this way: TJ Finley's transferred more than I have children. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It is.
Well,
You
that's
know?
too many.
I mean,
that's
whoa,
too many.
whoa.
No, more than
Like as
Okay.
of transfers, yeah, that's
Yeah.
too many. Not kids.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one thing that I would fix. That and yeah, the targeting is pretty bad because you're
bad.
totally right. Like if it's something like Witt or DJ Chester, just because those examples are fresh on the mind. They did not do that with the intent to hurt that player. Also, Witt, like, I don't know.
Witt kind of fell into him softly.
It wasn't even.
At some point, you have to make contact.
Yeah.
You have to make contact.
Yeah.
Yes. And look, as an offensive player, I used to lower my head all the time, and they still do that. I don't see them ever get called for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the safety portion you're talking about? Offensive players do it all the time, and I don't blame them either. Hey, we know what we signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
We get it.
It really feels.
And would I do it all again? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm one concussion away from being, Billy Bob and not another teen movie, okay? And I do it all again. You realize what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to go out there, to y'all's point, if you're trying to hurt somebody, that's a different situation than trying to make a play, protect yourself a little bit.
Yeah, and then to have to sit the first half, or Witt got ejected for the rest of the game, it doesn't make any sense to me, because it also feels like the refs and the NCAA officials, they don't even know what the rule is.
No, it's
They
a
do
roulette wheel.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I think that was targeting, sure.
Yeah. Let me hear those conversations too with you in Birmingham. Let me hear those. The the UFL does that, right?
Yeah, you get to hear the entire review process.
Let me hear it.
Which I love.
The fact that we don't have transparency in that, it still just blows my mind.
Well, we were talking about
Blows
the
my
other day,
mind.
the Oklahoma-Auburn game. The SEC refs, after the game came out, and they're like, yeah, we blew those 2 calls. Oh, cool. Auburn's still got a loss, and there's nothing you can do about
And
that.
there's nothing you can do about it. So, hey,
thanks.
hey,
Hey,
referee.
we're just human. Humans make mistakes, guys.
Yeah, and so do I. I made a mistake when I fumbled. You made a mistake when you threw an interception. Mm-hmm. Taylor, you made a mistake if you missed a tackle in high school, right? Alondra, you made a mistake if you struck out in softball, right? Okay, we had to answer to those mistakes, though. All of us had to answer to somebody, talk about them somewhere, okay? The fact that they still don't make them, like those officials that blew those calls in that Auburn-Oklahoma game should have to get in front of a microphone just like we are and say, yes, question 1 in the front row. Question 6 in the back row, because you cost somebody potentially a massive game.
I know this is. I'm going to play this clip for you guys. It was Oklahoma Auburn, and when I saw this play, I'm like, how is this not targeting? Refs didn't question it. People in the broadcast didn't. Nothing. This is kind of textbook, and nothing was done about it. I'm going to try to pause it. I can only find it on a short, so leaves his feet. Okay, like literally launches into the
Leroy Jenkins.
Hits him in the back of the helmet, sacks Jackson Arnold. How's that not targeting? But what Whit Weeks and what DJ Chester did are.
Yeah,
I mean, is that not?
At least roughing the
passer.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Roughing
how's that
the
not
passer.
like at least roughing the passer?
Nope.
Yeah.
They didn't call anything. They got up and they played on. So, like, for me, the rule I'm changing, I'm not changing targeting. I'm eliminating the targeting penalty from college football.
Yep.
Gone.
It just be like the NFL. It's a personal foul,
Yeah.
and if the league reviews it, you
15
can get
yards.
suspended.
15 yards.
Yes.
That's fine.
If you spit in somebody's face before the game,
Yes.
you can get kicked out of the game.
You're not getting kicked out of the game. There is no targeting penalty. Nobody's
And guess
forcing
what?
you to play.
If
Don't
you
play
get
if you
kicked
don't
out of
like
the game, these guys are professional football players. Fine them.
Yeah,
it. Right. They're getting
they're getting paid.
But
Nico.
because of one old guy's opinion,
Yeah.
Sure.
a kid that works his tail off all week loses eligibility for 2 quarters of football.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be like whip. It can be basically the whole game.
And it's 4 quarters of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We play what, 3
based on
plays?
an opinion. It shouldn't be based on an opinion of an old guy in a striped shirt on the field. Okay? It should be, all right, okay, you hit him, I'll give you a 15-yard penalty. Maybe it was a bad call, but we can all live with it. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a bang-bang play. We know refs make mistakes. It's fine. We get it.
Yeah.
That's part of being a human. That's part of, like, why we love football. It's not run by computers. That's fine. But to take eligibility away, if the league office wants to come back that week and say, you know what, it was targeting and it was malicious, so you got you got to sit out the first quarter. whatever
Because
it
I'm
is.
not having to make a decision in 5 minutes. There's pressure. There's a clock. There's a TV clock. Like, hey, fans, we don't want to have to sit here and wait for more action. So you got 3 minutes to make this decision. You're talking about like with Weeks being out of that game, right? If Florida DJ Lightweight didn't throw 5 interceptions, like that's your best player on defense. That's an All-American that you're missing for that. Because I got to make a decision in 3 minutes instead of like you saying, like go back and you review
let's
it.
take a
And
breath.
maybe hey, we're going to suspend you for the next game because that was egregious.
Yep.
Or it wasn't.
Yep. Or you got to pay the league office $25,000.
Well, that part's dumb in itself because like Witt got ejected 3 plays into the game, but has to miss the entire game. DJ Chester got ejected in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
He only has to miss the first half. So essentially, Chester's missing half of the game, and Witt's missing a whole game for the same penalty. Why can't Witt only sit out the first half and play the second? But also, Matt, I'll eliminate sack yardage going away from your rushing total. That's
I like that.
stupid too.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So
Oof,
we're
that was gonna be
eliminating
one of my bylaws.
We're eliminating all the too many transfers.
Yep.
We're eliminating Notre Dame
Yep. Targeting.
Yep.
Super chat here from Dane. It is way past time to make officials employees of the league in every sport and hold them accountable like every other major employee. True. They should be held to the same standards as coaches and players. I totally agree. You're making dollar bills doing what you're doing. And look, it's great. Look, you mess up, we mess up. Everybody messes up. Nobody's perfect out there, but just have to answer the question. I would respect it so much if a referee's like, here's what I saw, here's what I thought, okay, and that's how I interpret it. And I messed up. I was wrong. Oh my God, that would go.
That'd be so great.
Like, how many NFL games did you lose because of a bad call? Hey, tell me what you saw. Like, why did you make that call? And you're a human being, and you can give your explanation to like what I saw, why I missed it, and that would be so refreshing to me. Now it's never going to happen. And like, well, it's dangerous for the referees. What's the difference between putting
That's
them
so
in danger and
dangerous.
putting us in danger? Because if I fumble a game away, there's going to be some pissed off Charger fans.
Yep.
If you threw an interception, it's some pissed off Packer fans.
Yep. And there's certain penalties out there, certain plays that should be able to be reviewed and penalized after the fact. Like, if the league office in that Auburn-Oklahoma game should be able to call and say, that was an illegal play.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not talking about pass interference. I'm not talking about holding. I'm not talking about targeting. I'm not talking about things like that. But, like, egregious, just blatant, like, against the rules of the game of football.
Oklahoma-Auburn. You can't hide a player anymore.
Okay,
they hit a player for a touchdown.
What if the referees, and this has happened before, they don't count that there's 12 people on the field for the defense.
Yeah.
And the defense makes a big stop. The league office should be able to say, hey,
no,
there was 12 on the field. Y'all missed it, which is fine, okay? Don't miss it again. Slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
But, like, there was 12 against 11.
Yeah.
I can't stand. Like, for that to happen, what if you're Auburn? Like, they scored. We should have won the game. First of all, there's a fumble touchdown. Then there was an illegal play. NCAA should have to pay Auburn like $1 million right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, they should just hand him $1 million check. Give me something.
Yeah.
You can't give me the win. I get it because you can't take it away. Whatever. Give me some money.
Yeah.
What crew was it? It was in the NBA a couple years ago. The crew, because like they decide kind of the halfway point of the season which crew's going to get to officiate the NBA Finals. They took it away from the crew because they had missed so many calls, and they're like, you don't get to do the NBA Finals anymore. Like, that dips into their paycheck. Like, maybe something
and they
like
do that in the NFL, too. Like, the best crews, the best crews get the Super Bowl and all that stuff.
Lance Richard, Inside the Bayou 4 chat. What sucks in both Witt and DJ's case, it wasn't called on the field. The booth buzzed down for a review. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, true.
Like, somebody saw that and was like, oh, my gosh, that's not what we're going to allow. That is too tough.
And he definitely breathes like this.
Yeah.
With his mouth, not his nose.
Yeah, and he hadn't played a lick of football. Couldn't pop a pimple on the football field. I believe that was too rough. Nerd.
Yeah, egregious.
You
see?
Real quick, because I know we got Dr. Etheridge probably waiting in the hallway there. We apologize. The one thing that I would change if I was the commissioner of college football, everyone would have uniform scheduling. Every league would play the same amount of conference games, which the ACC is playing 9 as well. The SEC's moved to 9. But the Big Ten still doesn't have the rule where you've got to play a Power 4 opponent outside of conference play like the SEC does. I would have it, hey, you got to play 9 conference games, and your 10th game has to be against at least one Power 4 non-con opponent. And the other 2 games, you can play directional school U if you want to. I would actually get rid of the FCS games. Sorry, FCS. I love you. I appreciate you. You have Hall of Famers that have played at that level. But I'm talking about give the G6, those teams, that opportunity to play against the Power 4 team. So 9 conference, 1 Power 4, 2 G6 games. Everybody in the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC have to follow the same rules. And that would be my change, my first change.
And I'd also take away USC's claim to the 03 National Championship.
There's only one crystal ball, and it's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Before we take this break, I want to remind you it's always a great time to go for Dose as well. You can go for Dose this weekend in Oxford, Mississippi. Bring the tailgate to Oxford. Bring the real tailgate to Oxford. No chandeliers. The actual tailgate, the way it's supposed to be done. Also, coming back home to Baton Rouge, you got some big home games coming up. You got a little bye week. Certainly enjoy one on a bye week. But you got South Carolina coming to town. That's going to be a great time to go for Dose because it's always a great time to go for Dose. All right, when we come back, as we talked about, there is a major, major injury in the SEC at the quarterback position. We'll tell you who that is and what it looks like and how long he's going to be out with Dr. Stephen Etheridge when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to PelicanRoof.com. That is the website for Pelican Roofing. And one of the things that we always love to tell you about is the testimonials of past clients, and you see some if you're watching this on YouTube right there, but also just the 5-star reviews, because we believe and trust in Pelican Roofing. You should as well, but this is your neighbor. This is your friends telling you how great of a service they had with Pelican Roofing. I'm driving around my neighborhood the other day, Pelican Roofing flags in the neighborhood. Man, there wasn't anything out of place. Like, even as they were doing the job, everything was kept tidy. Everything was on schedule. Everything looked like it was first class because that's the only way they do it over at Pelican Roofing. Go to the website today, pelicanroof.com.
Don't be a Pelicant, be a Pelican.
Yeah.
PelicanRoofing.com. If you have a project, if you are building a roof, you roof repair, whatever, most trusted roofing company in Louisiana, PelicanRoof.com.
locked in on LSU football 24/7. You're listening to Off the Bench.
All right, welcome back in OTB here on this Wednesday morning. It is Wednesday morning. We're going to call it 8:15 and act like we were on time, even though it's 8:24. Sorry. Dr. Stephen Etheridge joins us now. Doc, we were acting if we were the commissioner of college football, what we would change. Flynn's number one was he would make Notre Dame either get kicked out or join a conference of college football.
I like that one.
I went with scheduling. I want everybody to play 9 conference games, 1 Power 4 non-con game, and then group of 6 in the other 2. No more FCS games. Sorry, we love you, but that's what I wanted. Alondra said transfer portal. Tay, what was yours?
I mean, targeting, but also take away sack yardage counting against your rushing total.
Sure,
That's dumb.
That's very dumb. If Dr. Stephen Etheridge was the commissioner of college football, it's the first thing that you're doing.
Yeah, I kind of
you play college football, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know some things that frustrate you.
I will say I like everyone's. It's funny though. The one that we talked about this past, or maybe 2 weekends ago, was the targeting one. Yeah. I feel like you got to remove it, or at least get the suspension, or throw him out of a game. Maybe need the penalty. I'm fine with that.
A flagrant 1 or 2, like basketball.
I like that idea, but I also I want to get rid of the little games as well. That for me, that's probably my most passion. What drives me crazy.
I know.
And especially when we see injuries, and that's obviously personal to me. And I hate the games when you're playing. I don't want to throw any specific schools out there.
Just say directional school you. That's what we call them.
When we're playing the directional schools, and you get a guy that gets hurt, and it's just it hurts that much more when that happens. So I guess that's when But the targeting one is also near and dear, because every time I watch those, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely targeting. It's not. No. I mean, whatever I think it is I know it's going to be the opposite.
No doubt.
100% wrong.
Same way.
I mean, I'm batting 0.
I am. Yes. Absolutely. I would not be in the Hall of Fame either. I am not 3 for 10. I am 0 for 10. All right, there is a big injury in the SEC. The Heisman frontrunner, John Mateer, it broke yesterday that he is going to have thumb surgery. And I believe the timetable that I saw, and this was reacting as soon as it happened, like 3 to 5 weeks. So, Doc, and it's on his throwing hand, by the way. How can you have surgery on your throwing hand, on your thumb, feels pretty important, and only be out 3 to 5 weeks?
There's a lot of injuries, and again, we don't know exactly what this one is. They were not really vocal with what it is, which we'd be the same. So I'm not saying anything negative there. But one that I think that we all know about, if you go back to, I believe it was either the 18 or 19 year when Drew Brees had his, he had a ligament injury in his thumb. He had the UCL injury. Yeah. So that's what's called a gamekeeper thumb, or sometimes called a skier's thumb. But there's a ligament on the inside of the thumb that keeps your thumb from pulling out.
Right.
And the funny thing was, I remember watching that game, and they had that aerial shot, and I saw them doing the exam, and probably something they didn't want us to see. But when they did that exam, I saw his thumb kind of open up. I'm like, oh, he's out. No doubt. And he came back. I think it was 5 weeks. There's more modern techniques where you can do an internal brace, so maybe he had the same injury. Another thing, with a broken bone in the hand, if once you start getting new bone growing on it, a lot of times we'll go in there, we'll put a little plate. So you have the bone that's the base of the thumb. The metacarpal is one that breaks a lot. Sometimes you can put a plate on it, and as soon as we see new bone growing, which is usually around that 4 to 6 week range,
right?
So maybe they're doing something like that, And again, it's obviously position specific. It's as a quarterback, I think that's the best case scenario is 3 to 5 weeks. He's got to grip and throw, and if it was the other hand, to your point, or if he was a lineman or a defensive lineman, we could club him up and he can play this week. So there's a lot of relativity to that. But if I had to guess, I'd say one of those two. It's either something they could get a little plate on there and heal, or maybe they fix that ligament with do an internal brace, which maybe gives a little extra support to it. But
how do you throw a ball, Matt? Like I don't know how important the thumb is. I know the index finger is important to a quarterback, but I feel like the thumb.
I would say it's important. Separates us from the animals, Jake, for sure.
Thumb is pretty opposable thumb.
So I want to know about, when you're talking about surgery on your hand, and so I know we've talked about turf toe and surgery on our feet, but to me the hand is like a completely different animal because it's everyday life, especially our thumbs. Like there's so many bones, there's so many ligaments, a lot can probably go wrong with that. Like if your foot heals up and it's still a little bit stiff the rest of your life, okay, fine. But like your hand, fine motor skills, your day-to-day, just everyday living, I would assume that like it's a hand specialist that is dealing with that, and it's something that you probably got to be careful. Like, do not rush this back because you're talking about like not being able to use your thumb as well for the rest of your life.
Yeah, a hand is one of those areas that, to be honest, it should scare you a little bit if you're not an expert. I see a hand injury. There's certain injuries where I'm a little bit more aggressive. If I'm treating it,
right.
I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it. Like even somebody comes into the emergency room, if they've got like an abscess, or a boil, an infection in their hand, even something like that, where maybe if it was on your leg, I would just lance it for you. But if it's somewhere in the hand, a lot of times I'm going to call the hand surgeons because you got so much packed into that small place. Like you said, you have the fine motor skills, and one wrong move, if you cut a nerve, you cut a ligament, a tendon, something that's really vital. Man, that could be catastrophic to not just your ability to play football, but to your point, just riding, grasping, gripping, doing your normal day-to-day stuff. So, it's something where you really need somebody who's good. We're very fortunate here. Our partners that I work with, we got a couple guys with hands that are just, they're some bosses. They're fantastic guys. But I'm sure, I think I read with Patir, I think he's going out to the guy in California. I think it was the same guy that actually did Drew Brees' surgery, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice.
But there's guys that you want to see the right people if it's a hand for sure.
Yeah, how tough is that? Like, so if let's just say like you go see a specialist or whatever, like what's the communication like between the team doctor and that specialist? Because the specialist, he saw it, he was there, he was inside. Or is the team doctor getting all the photos, all the surgery notes, and everything? You're going over that with the specialist?
Yes, yeah. In a perfect world, yes. I should say that. What we've learned is there are certain people that are better at that than others. Not just the surgical side, but ideally for us, if we're working with a team, we're fortunate that we have really good people here. We're able to do most of the surgeries here in house, but for a lot of reasons, today's day and age, there's some agent pressure sometimes. Sometimes people just want to go back home, maybe where they're from. There's times where we see those scenarios. We get some of the guys when they go to the league that want to come back here and have surgery with our guys.
I did,
because, so it's what you're comfortable with. So, but in a perfect world, we want to have great communication with those guys. And most of them do, especially the guys that are working with athletes on a regular basis. They understand the importance because, for one, you want your guy to do well, but they also care about their reputation. And if you get a hand surgery and then you come back here and if we don't know what's going on and if maybe we're not doing a good job with the rehab or we don't know what you did and we're not communicating well, it doesn't just look bad on us. So and obviously our first concern is if we want the guys to do well, and I think that's most of us. But these guys, especially these elite guys around the country, they're most of them pretty good about communication.
So this is like a hand anatomy question. It's like I would think you would want that hand specialist that's dealing with hands every single day because like there's so much stuff happening in there, so many ligaments, so many veins, so many all this tendons. It's like a 90s action movie. Like if you don't have like a guy that's a specialist, it's like, all right, which wire do I cut here? Is it the red, the blue, the green, the yellow wire? What is it? Because like when I had elbow tendonitis, like I learned a lot about the forearm. Like I learned that an ulnar nerve on mine might not go in the same, might not have the same anatomy as yours. It might go under this muscle and the other person might go above it or to the side of it. So I would assume that's the same. Like when you open up somebody's hand, it's like, all right, this is the nerve here. It's usually by this bone, but for this guy, it's on a different bone. So like you're looking at just
you want somebody.
Flesh, but like
if you're cutting on my hand, I want somebody who's done it. That's all they're doing. To your point, and one of the things I tell my patients a lot is like the human body doesn't usually read the anatomy textbooks. So even though we think we know what things should look like, and look, we do, we do this stuff, but I see weird stuff every day, and that's one thing I tell my patients all the time. Is like, look, this is what we're pretty sure of, but everybody's a little different. Your anatomy probably is a little different. We can probably go into that as deep as you want. But
let's not get into his brain. We don't have time for that.
That's true.
But the reality of it, we're all a little bit different.
A lot of bruises.
And there's a lot of variation. So having somebody that not only does it all the time, but who's probably seen those variations over and over and over again, and somebody who really takes pride in their craft, that's where you want to go. And like I said, fortunately, we've got a lot of good guys here. I never worry about hand injuries in my clinic because we got some studs.
Yeah.
But it makes a difference. It really makes my job easier when I have those people out there.
Would T-Bob's hands been big enough to operate on?
That would have been difficult.
I thought
magnifying
so.
glass.
You definitely need a specialist for that.
But the monocle that has like 8 different flip down.
Just keep on
flipping.
All right,
different lenses.
One that I wanted to ask you about. All right, so we see an ankle, okay? And when I was young, I just thought an ankle was an ankle. And if you sprained your ankle, you sprained your ankle. Now it's like we always get into the high, mid, low. What's the difference in return? Like, because high feels like obviously the worst. We hear that all the time. What's the other two though? Like if you got, I don't even know what like you would call it. What is the term you would use for other ankle injuries?
Right. So I typically break them down. You have high, you have medial, you have lateral. So medial, the inside, lateral, the outside. And you'll hear some slight different variations of the way people break them down, but that's typically the way that I like to look at it. It still comes back to severity first. A very mild high ankle, even though we don't like high ankles, probably gets back quicker than, say, a severe lateral. So we got to kind of understand that there is that. But on the average, high ankles are the long ones. And is it a grade 1, a grade 2, a grade 3? I think we've talked about some of that. Grade 1s, we can get those back sometimes in a week if it's the lower end, milder version, even of a high ankle. Now, again, that's best case scenario. Really good job rehabbing it. They do a really good job of getting the inflammation out of it throughout the week.
Yeah,
we've had some of those come back, in recent examples. Whereas they can be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Most of your typical lateral ankle, that's the most common ankle. That's when you kind of roll it and kind of sprain the outside.
It swells up on you really bad.
Swells up. It's not a real bad one. Those are guys you can use to get a good brace on them. You can tape them up pretty good, and most of the times get those guys back the next week. I mean, again, there's not a lot of structural damage associated with it beyond that. The medial side is sort of the in-between. Sometimes those can be a bear. It just depends. They're a little bit more unpredictable, at least in my experience. But so it can be all over the map, though.
Doc, last one here. I know you're more focused on the football side of things and not the baseball side of things, but last night, David Fry for the Cleveland Guardians took a 99-mile-per-hour fastball to the face. Oof. Carted off the field, hospital. So when you're dealing with something like that, trauma to the face, I assume that, of course, you're going to see if, like, everything's working properly, what the significance of the damage is. But, like, was a doctor, an orthopedic doctor, whatever it is, they work, like, with hand-in-hand with face doctors, plastic surgeons? Like, how does that whole, like, what is a face trauma? What's a first step?
So well, I think you hit the nail on the first step. We got to make sure that there's not an immediate serious injury. Do they have a globe injury to the eyes? This is something where we need to get emergency ophthalmology involved. Are we worried about vision? Could they go blind? Things like that. If it's something to the jaw and neck area, do we have to worry about an airway? Is this something where they might, if they're having a lot of bleeding and going down the throat, could they asphyxiate on that? So obviously there are life-threatening injuries that occur with even something like a baseball to the face, especially if it's coming 90-something miles an hour.
99.
But assuming we get past that, then yes, we're looking at, we're working with our oral facial guys. We're working with ophthalmologists if necessary. Sometimes, we do get the plastics guys involved, especially for the long term, because obviously our first concern is functionality, healing, recovery. But some of the plastic guys do some really good work. We're lucky, in the sports medicine side, we have a really good relationship with our community here.
Yeah.
We've had a few face injuries. We've got a couple of really good surgeons over at the lake that we've used that do a fantastic job. And literally they know when they get a call from one of us, they're going to answer it pretty quick, pretty much right away. And so the nice thing is we're able to get that information quickly, get the athletes fixed if that's what the case is. And sometimes it's surgical as well. Sometimes those things are just as important, and can affect you long term.
Can y'all just like put yourself in that position?
Yeah.
99-mile-an-hour fastball to the face. Yeah. Good Lord.
Hopefully David Fry is okay. Former Northwestern State Demon. So has ties here to Louisiana. I remember watching him play. Really, really good college player. Made the All-Star team in 2024 for the Guardians as well. So hopefully he's okay. Doc, we appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Let's go
Here over the weekend before we head to Oxford.
Hometown of your guy.
It is. Did we take family vacations to Tupelo, Mississippi growing up? Probably, because we went to Graceland like 37 times growing up.
You got to get where it all started, Tupelo.
That's right. No question about it. Doc, we appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, we'll be back. More OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to boudreauxelectrical.com. Remember, it is not too late for your whole home generator. Even though we've already had activity in the Gulf of America, it is not too late because they have over 80 generators stocked and ready to go, ready to install at your home, at your business. On the North Shore, it is 985-397-1562. In the greater Baton Rouge area, 225-300-9389. Go to boudreauxelectrical.com today.
That's right. Boudreaux's Electrical, more power, more protection. And if it's kind of been on like the bucket list to see about that whole home generator for you to protect your home, to protect your family, protect your things inside your house, protect that venison backstrap sausage from last year's hunt right there in your freezer, whatever it is, you can go to their website at boudreauxelectrical.com. There's a big red button right there that says request a free Generac quote. You can get it sized for your size house. And you can get that pricing started right there to see what the whole process is about. When the lights go out in the neighborhood, be the MV. Keep the lights on right there. BoudreauxElectrical.com.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Tell you what, a burnt CD used to hate to see me coming. This was on
MP3s? Remember when you figured out that you could make it an MP3 file?
Yeah.
You could go from burning 10 to 12 songs per CD, depending on the length.
right.
So you burn in about 100
Yep.
to 120 MP3s. Oh, that was a big day. A little stack. Go to Best Buy, get that circle stack of like 100 CDs. Blank. Then that one person in your grade that had the proper file on their computer and the proper stickers, they would print out designed labels for the top of the CD, customize it.
At Shreveport Evangel, it was big to have, like, I think the girls would have different color Sharpies.
Yeah.
And they would, like,
Okay.
draw
Big
and
deal.
come up with, like, some good art.
I mean,
And label it. Like you would come up with
Yeah.
like a name for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
CD.
The mixtape
and then,
had a- yeah.
Yes.
and is there anybody on earth better at drawing block letters or bubble letters than 13 to 16-year-old girl?
No.
My God, I remember
I used
some
to
of
love
those
a
letters.
block letter.
They would write these letters to each other, and they would spend what seemed like 2.5 days on just writing the person's name.
Yeah.
Bubble
Block
letters were
letters.
big when I was
Yeah.
in like middle school.
I mean, God, with the artistry.
Sometimes when I doodle, I still do the bubble letters.
Sure.
Like if I'm in a meeting and I have like a notebook and I'm bored and listening or whatever, like I start bubble lettering my name.
If I got a notebook in front of me, and you'll, like, by the end of it, you'll see it on, like, my live sheet. I'm just doodling. My go-tos are always, I draw the Adidas logo and the Nike check.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Man.
Like, to this day,
Right.
I'll throw one of those S's
I was
from
gonna
our
say
day
those
too.
from the
now.
S's?
Yeah.
I'll throw one of those
With
bad
three
boys
stars-
in
stars
there
with
what I
too.
three
was
lines?
literally about to say.
I'll
yeah.
draw one of those.
Hey, son, do you want to see how I can turn 6 lines into a work of art? Watch this.
I used to put that as the S in my last name on like my middle school
no.
paper at the
Wow.
top. The teacher hated it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
She's like,
for
it's not
you.
even an S. You can't put that as your name. So I just
It
stopped.
is an S. She was
Oh.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's wrong.
What a
Tell that to
dumb
everybody
teacher.
else.
Yeah, dumb.
I mean, that would LP
That was your
public
teacher? She
School.
was
LP
teaching you
public
things?
school, guys.
Right.
What do you want?
So stupid.
I just still don't get it. How are teenage girls so good at doing block letters? It's a talent, because I used to try to do it too, but I'd do it like pen, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't
and
look
then
the same.
you
Doesn't hit.
make it 3D.
Oh my
Like
God.
Whenever you
Shadow-
make it,
shadow
when you
letters.
shadow it.
Yeah.
Oh
Watch
yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm.
The shadows was a little bit above my pay grade,
Oh no.
but I could 3D the absolute hell out of a block letter.
I was about to say that, or I can
Try
make
3D in an F, a capital F. Wow.
That-
You could do that?
yes, or like the O was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else? I could make the heck out of a cube. Like I could draw
yeah,
a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go when it gets behind the initial, the
Yeah.
front side? Do you go dotted line?
No.
Okay.
I like that,
Respect.
though.
Respect.
No, I just go straight, just straight line.
This feels like something only the Hesters did, because me and my older brother, like, obsessed with sports. We used, like, doodling, we used to draw basketball uniforms. Like, we would draw, like, the tanks with the shorts, like the whole combo. North Carolina, the Argyle down the side, and that was doodling.
Somebody just made me laugh so in the chat. Don't forget about the doodle tornadoes. Y'all ever do tornadoes?
No.
Golly.
Yeah,
Are you
where
kidding
you're
me?
just like,
You just draw a bunch of circles
Yeah.
and you get it deep, then you get real small.
Oh, yeah.
A doodle tornado used to pop during science class.
Oh. Hey, why does OTB have one brain cell? Well,
we were all doodling.
We were drawing Adidas logos in class
All right,
and
we're-
tornadoes.
We're talking about the things
shadow
people are
letters.
too scared to talk about. 3D the hell out of the
nobody
block
was
letter C.
right. Nobody was talking about the stone skimming until we brought it up on this
Exactly.
show. And then you see it on
Yep.
Pat McAfee the next day.
Probably
Fair.
Friday
When
on Pat
AJ
McAfee.
Huck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday Pat McAfee show is going to be talking about doodling.
Doodle tornadoes will be talked about because AJ's got some kind of listening device
Yeah.
here in this studio.
He's the mole.
Boom,
He is the
boom,
mole.
boom.
Yeah, and now I'm going to lose Flynn for the rest of the show because this man is doodling
What are you doodling right now?
over there.
Oh, the S.
I don't
Let's
think
go.
they can see it.
Yep, I got it.
The white balance in here is real bad.
It's so bad.
Very bad. Well done. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Thanks. I just did that. Guess how many seconds that took? I got to connect the sides here. Guess how many seconds that took me?
Yeah, that looks way better.
About 4.
Well done.
Nice.
Well done.
Just picture Taylor in middle school, high school,
That was his S.
doing his final exam. Taylor sharp with this as the yes.
The final exam on his SAT is
SAT.
That's why it scored so low. They didn't know who it belonged to.
Yes. All right, we'll take a break. A little Would You Rather
Clearly an S.
Wednesday whenever we come back here on OTB. But before we go to break, K to Z Blinds, KTZBlinds.com, K to Z Interiors and Outdoor Living since 2004 in Baton Rouge, in Lafayette, on the North Shore, really, though, throughout the state of Louisiana. If you're listening to us up in North Louisiana, just give them a call. Chances are they can help you as well. Have Brandon Barton and the team come out to your space. They're going to change your space, interior, outdoor living, and sometimes both. KTZBlinds.com. All right, as I said, Would You Rather Wednesday when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to getgordon.com. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. It is your area code in Louisiana, no matter where you're at in Louisiana, north, south, central Louisiana, southwest, does not matter. We are talking to you. Just put your area code, followed by 888-8888, and get in contact with the G team. Speaking of the G team, you know who's on the G team? A lot of your favorite athletes, including LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, right? Always doing big things for the state of Louisiana is the G team. And you can check out what they can do for you on social media. At Get Gordon's always going to be the handle on all major social media. Get Gordon and get it done.
Yeah, everybody knows the name. Everybody in Louisiana, everybody knows the name. They see the billboards, they see the commercials, they see how Gordon McKernan helps with the LSU and the NIL, all that stuff. And that is all great, and it shows you what part of the community they are. But at the core of it, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, they will help you if you are injured. Let them fight for you, whether it's been on the job, on car wreck, whatever it is. GetGordon.com.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
At first we started out real cool, taking me places I ain't never been. But now you're getting comfortable, ain't doing those things you did no more. You're slowly making me pay for things your money should be handling. And now you ask to use my car.
All right, welcome back in OTB. We'll push Would You Rather Wednesday to the 9 o'clock hour because I do actually want to ask Flynn about the John Mateer injury. He was the leader in the clubhouse for the Heisman Trophy, and he had played really well, had a couple of big victories against Michigan, against Auburn, and he is now going to be out 3 to 5 weeks having surgery on his thumb. So not just resting it and going through rehab, having surgery and having to come back. I've never thrown a football in a game. Jimbo was sleeping on my skills. I don't know what that's like. I can't imagine wearing any kind of a brace on your thumb is fun. How much does that change the outlook for Oklahoma?
I don't think you can overstate the impact that it's going to have on. I don't think they're a complete enough team to lose one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in the country and still be in this race.
Yeah.
Now, are they still good? They got a good defense. They do. Their offense, they're just not they're just not dynamic. I don't think from top to bottom on their offense they have the skill set, the overall depth. And John Mateer did a lot, but he didn't have his best game this past week. And they didn't do much on offense, right? Yeah. They had to rely on a illegal play to get some of their points. So,
touche.
Look, they throw a backup in there unless he's
got some experience. He's had to play here and there. He replaced Jackson Arnold for a little bit a year ago, so it's not a completely new guy. But look, John Mateer was leading the Heisman Trophy conversation.
Yeah,
so it's not that.
Yep. So I would say playing pretty decent up to that point, and he didn't play good. I didn't play great this past week, and maybe it was
right.
Maybe it's a hand situation.
You do so real quick. You have bye week, Kent State, so it's good for your scheduling. But then you got to go to Dallas and play Texas, and you've got at South Carolina in that stretch. So not an easy stretch at the back end of it with Texas, rivalry game obviously there in the Cotton Bowl, and then going on the road to Williams-Brice to play against South Carolina. So some big news coming out of Norman yesterday. John Mateer going to be out 3 to 5
Daniel makes
weeks.
a good point. John Mateer not participating in any thumb wars.